Is this too forced already, this interview?
Nah, I think the interview's good, but
Yeah.
I feel like all interviews are forced.
Exactly.
They're all fucking like, I don't know.
Right. A lot of people probably do know who you are, but for people who don't know who you are, this is Reider Decker, and along with Michael here, they've produced a new wave video out of Cape Hatteras called FTN, Fuck the Noise, and we're here to give them a little interview and find out what that video is all about. So first up, how you both been? What have you guys been up to?
We'll start it.
Yeah. We've just been wave kiting and working and pretty much the same old thing. I don't know. We have a shop, so Michael works for us at our shop and does the media for us as well. And so yeah, we've just been working and doing stuff, and I don't know.
Busy then. Busy shop life.
Yeah, busy shop life, just a bunch of random shit, and I feel like we do a bunch of pretty much random things, like a little bit of everything. So I feel like we're always just like, but the last few days we had really good swell, so we kited side off, which was sick.
It's pretty epic.
And it was like pretty nice little barrels and pretty sketchy, and yeah, so it's pretty fun. So yeah, just kiting.
Yeah, man. Well, I gotta say I was stoked to see the edit, because in this day and age I don't feel like we're seeing a lot of edits coming out anymore. Did anyone fund this project, or you guys just did it off your own backs? What's the go there?
It's all me. For them, a lot of the funding was a lot of just my own money being put into it. Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty much just us
I mean, and
doing
you
it.
guys are like obviously helping along too, letting me use your guys' stuff and providing things. But
Yeah, we were like quasi. I feel like work days would turn into film days.
yeah,
And so it was kind of also like, well, we're not really working, but we're filming.
Work was filming for me, which was cool.
But yeah, Erish didn't budget. No one paid us out. I think I thought that like, oh, we're gonna make this video, and then like they're gonna be like, this is sick. Like we're gonna give you money, and that's like not the way it works, right? But it also doesn't work in the way now where you can be like, we want to have a really long edit and we want you to pay us a lot of money for it. And they're like, no, why would we do that? Like, that's not, no one is asking for that, really. I mean, like, everyone thinks it's sick when you do it, but no one wants to pay for it. So, and also we're just kind of, yeah.
But it didn't even matter about getting paid. It was just doing it.
Yeah. I feel like when you're getting paid to do it, I mean, Erish is pretty chill, but like then it turns into like, oh well, it's cool, but you're not riding this board, you're on the older stuff, you're on this, like there's not very many product shots in the video, and like they're very laid back about that stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, like it still comes back to that, I think, when people are funding videos. So you'll see in the video there's not a lot of product placement. That's like, not a lot of slow-mo pans to the logos, which kind of enjoy not having that.
Yeah, I think it's easy to look at this kind of thing and like think, oh, that's easy, you just made like a bit of an edit, it's 8 or 10 minutes, but then like when it actually comes down to doing it and like people have to get it done themselves, it's like way more to it than what you would think like goes into even like an 8-minute edit. Like you got to film for such a long time and put so much effort in. And like you say, people aren't really supporting that kind of thing so much nowadays, because it's not like aligning with like social media this and doing that and the newest products because you filmed for so long and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, yeah, it's tough. You got to want to do it. And so it's kind of sick to see that there's people out there that still want to do this. And that's pretty much why I'm talking to you now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What inspired the edit, Michael?
Well, I moved down here, and I was like, I didn't really know much about kiting at all, and my first time seeing ocean kiting was watching Reider, and I wasn't at the level of being able to even ride in the ocean at that time. And
you weren't even fucking. He wasn't even kiting.
I guess I wasn't even kiting at this moment.
It wasn't even kiting, and you filmed.
It was just the film. It was just a gnarly like week, and we're just like, oh, well, fuck it, I'll film. Like, what else am I going to do? And And then that ended up being such an epic day, and that kind of like blew my mind, and I was just like, this is the coolest sport ever, and like I already thought it was cool, but that just like took it to another level. And we were going to make some like short edit because that week was so like nuts, and houses were falling in that week, and we were going like, oh, let's just do like a little minute Instagram, 2-minute Instagram thing, and then we kind of just like, yeah, no.
We kind of pitter-pattered on it. Like, we didn't release it, and then we were like, Michael's like, what if we do something
just keep filming
bigger, something longer, you know? And it's like kicking the can down the road. But I was also kind of feeling like, I don't know, why not? Because it's just like, I also felt like I would, I don't know, put it out and it just
I just felt like,
too, faster.
Reider as a rider doesn't have much video evidence of what he can do in the waves, especially here in Hatteras, which is like, I mean, it's so hard to capture it, like, to capture true wave riding here, and that was why it took us so long, but
there's
like,
just so much current.
It was pretty cool to capture.
Yeah, there's like so much current and sketchy. But some of the best clips, wave clips from the video were literally right when Michael moved down here. He'd never filmed kiting before in his life. And he like filmed, and he like got some fucking, and I came in and I was like so stoked he recorded. And he's
on a ladder with like a clamp.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. No, but the clips you got them,
terrible tripod.
and so I was like frothed. I was like over the moon. He was like, yeah, I could have gotten them in better. I could have whatever framed it better. Fucking, I don't know.
How hard is it, do you think, to line up like getting barreled in Hatteras with a kite? Is it working, or is it just like fully random?
No, it's definitely works a lot. But really it's like when we go to film, we film at like the jetty, which is like the wave that's really popular. Like if you look up all like the long barrels that Hatteras has, it's always at the jetty, and so that is also the best to film because you can stay upwind. So like that's we can get really good waves other places, but you just can't film it really. So you just kind of ride and you're just like needle in the haystack. Like you're never gonna like.
We could film it. I mean, not anyone like. It just kind of sucked because like Reider would be the only guy out there and no one else would be able to join him. So it was kind of like discouraging to do those missions because usually it was like a group of us, but then that turned into just him and I, and it's like he's the only one that can like really make it work in some of these spots that weren't the jetty, and like it's
like
pretty hard.
Gnarly staying upwind. Like you're basically staying upwind like as hard as you can every second.
And we tried so many different ways of filming it. Like I would chase him on a downwinder. That was just hectic and not working.
It wasn't working.
And there's just like a bunch of failed attempts. Then we kind of found a rhythm to it, like how to.
It was easy to get barreled, hard to document from the shore. I would say.
And you need to be like up on a dune and
a lot of spots are too far out, and
wave needs to be close in.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a lot of wave riding spots. Is just you get good sessions and you remember having good sessions, but like you rarely actually film the good sessions. It's always hard to film.
Yeah. That's totally it. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the video as well and like the edit and stuff because I thought that was pretty sick. I really like the intro montage. I like those kind of things. And I was wondering like where you got the inspiration for that. Was it just something you came up with or like
that was totally random. But it was just kind of funny because it was more fast paced in the beginning, and over time I was like, it needs to be slower. It needs to be slower. It needs to be fucking slower. And he just like, I was kind of catching some shit for it a little bit. Maybe not shit, but like, not everyone really got it. But I didn't really care. It was kind of cool to me.
Yeah, I can feel that. I always make edits where like they're cool to me, and then other people are like, that was really slow and boring. And I'm like, fuck. Oh well, I enjoyed it at least, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Sick.
How long did you film the whole video for? How long were you filming for?
I mean, we started my first year here, which was almost 4 years ago. It's like 3.5 years ago. So it's been like 3 years in the process, 3.5 years. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then like the editing was, we really knocked a lot out this past winter, and then I got all the editing done this past like winter as well. Yeah.
I just want to
That's
say,
pretty cool.
if we were trying to like punch it into like 2
We-
or 3 years, we definitely could have. Like
We
it was,
didn't really
yeah.
have a plan.
it was like literally like my dad was giving us shit pretty much like every year. He'd be like, "Are you guys ever gonna do something, or are you just gonna sit on that footage?" And so Michael set like a firm deadline for like this year.
Made
for this
him
fall.
come up with a name. Like you gotta name this or something. Like it's gotta be like something.
Yeah. So then
Had
so
no name.
we basically filmed a lot at the beginning, some in the middle, and then a lot at the end. Like this, all the sound footage is from literally
Right before premiere.
literally like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the premiere.
Yeah.
It was like pinched in, which is pretty crazy. But yeah,
I like that you kept like some crashes and like some more kind of sketchy clips in there, because I think that like just helps sort of show the vibe and make it like feel more authentic than just like every clean clip, you know. As well with like wave riding too, I sometimes like it when like you get a couple big hits and then you do like a third one or something and it's like it's a sick hit but you kind of like botch it a bit but still pull it off.
yeah.
I don't know. I just like that. In every sport, I think I kind of like that sort of like where you don't need to go back and shoot it again. You're just like, yeah, whatever. That was like what it was at the time, and it looked cool.
There's a few crashes I kind of wish I added in hindsight, but
Yeah, I used the one for the teaser of it. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it kind of like makes it so when you're watching something, you're not always sure what's gonna happen, right? Like when you have everyone's gonna have a make, and then if people like have a similar way they pull makes, like, you know, you always like drag the hand, loop, and then it kind of gets like repetitive because you're like, okay, they're gonna like come out of this doing like one of 3 things, and kind of like makes it stale. You just watch it over and over, but yeah.
No, I thought that was sick. What did you film it on? It looks like mostly mini DV, but it's like a mix of some stuff in there, right?
I didn't actually use any tapes, just because it was just a lot more money and time and things like that. But I was using P2 cards. It means like something, but it was all shot with HVX 2000 or 200.
Nice.
Yeah, primarily on that. There was a Sony 4K cam. I'm kind of forgetting the name of it. That I shot like the first week that we're talking about on, and then I never shot with that camera really ever again. I sold it, but yeah, it was really just shot with that HVX and maybe a GH4, a few clips.
Yeah,
maybe.
barely,
I don't even think I really used those.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all the HVX for the most part, and then the sound was a GoPro with a fisheye iPhone clip on it.
I was gonna say, were the follow clips looking backwards? I thought they might have been mini DV too, but they were with the iPhone clip on the GoPro.
No, that would be way cooler. I mean, I was trying to figure out a way to achieve that for the longest time, and there is ways, but I just didn't have the money to risk it and do it.
It's so hard in the water too. It's like it has other thing.
I was kind of tripping that you did that because one of my friends back in the day, he took his like handy cam and put it inside a Tupperware container and shot at the wake park, but it's so hard to do. Like,
no, I'm figuring out ways to do it. For the next next movie idea, I really want to achieve that, like not use the GoPro and the fisheye mount. That was because it was like last second, and I had this idea for the longest time. I was like, we still got to find a way to get this kind of like fisheye shot in the water. And
I don't know if you saw that maybe one of the last team battle videos we did in Brazil, my team's video, the yellow one. We used like a GoPro with the fisheye adapter on the front in that one. So you can kind of get what you want with that if you get like a different adapter.
Yeah, I was wondering what you guys were using because with what I like just taped it on, and you could see the light just like coming through the sides. Like if you look at the video again, it's just like it looks totally
Dude, the GoPro fried too after the GoPro, the sound session we used it, and it like literally. I mean, I think the GoPro was fucked anyway, but like I think it literally got water behind it and helped it overheat, and the whole thing just like exploded in on itself like the next day.
Yeah, it was weird.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, those like looking back follow clips were probably like some of my favorite clips. There's the one or two where like you're really close and he's following like super behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks sick. I like that. That angle's like super underutilized. I don't think many people shoot on that angle.
We were trying to get more because we like loved it too. We're like, oh my god, like we need to get more of these clips.
And that was what we were doing right before the premiere, so we were really rushing those clips because we had like a session like maybe a month prior to that like we had a few close chance, like we kind of accidentally did a few of those clips and we're like, whoa, those like turned out really good. We need to like line that up better, and we really we ended up pulling it off. Luckily, I mean, we got what we wanted.
Yeah, it definitely makes me want to do the most of those out of it.
That was definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I think that's the most fun combo, right? When you're the filmer and you're like actually in the action and you like have some, you might get hit or tangled or something. Then it's like fun. It's not as fun just like being with a tripod and just
Yeah.
for sure.
just a run around.
The 360 flip over the grass gap and the big spin over the grass gap were pretty wild.
Thanks.
Wait for pointing that out, but like I'm just so pumped to learn that. I was pushing for that.
We were pretty. We like love that little
such a good gap.
little zone, and yeah, we were pretty stoked. And then it was fucking. It was pissing me off so much. I like rolled up, and there was like a narrow spot and then a wider spot. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do the wider spot. Like I can just do the wider spot. And I like wasn't even like landing on the board at all. And Michael's like, dude, you just need to go back to the narrow spot. And, like, tried to land something, and I literally did like first one to the narrow spot, like first trick landed, and I was like, okay. And then I just did a bunch more of the wide one, and it worked out. So
and like what's crazy? So it's like reason I'm like take it to those small spots because like. You don't really warm up much, and then prior to this session, he's maybe ridden in a sound 3 other times, like legitimately that year, like maybe three.
Yeah.
And it was like maybe for like 10, 20 minutes.
That makes me seem like a fucking diva. It's like I don't come out unless I'm getting fucking recorded.
But no, it's not even like you didn't want to be recorded. It was like me like pushing you. I mean, you wanted to do it, but you got other things going on.
I was stoked to do those like little land gaps. I was like, this is so fun. Like it's like the best. Yeah.
Posting up to a skate spot.
Yeah.
It felt like.
It was sick. I wanted to do some weird or different things where we like have the board upside down and like slide over the land and weird shit too. Like, but
yeah, well, I was gonna say if you like the skate tricks, maybe you should ride a wake skate, but then at the same time. You kind of make it like look pretty good on the surfboard, which is kind of rare. And then also the tricks you are kind of doing sort of like only surfboard only tricks, some of them like those kind of like stalled out front big spin kind of things as well. Like you couldn't really do that on a wake skate. So it's kind of sick that you take like a front big and then make it like a surf kind of trick versus just doing like a front big how you would do it on a wake skate.
Yeah. Thanks. I definitely I learned to do varial flips on a wake skate, and it was fucking hard. And I just remember being like Evan probably remembers. It was like I fucking tacked all the way up to the slick from our shop, which is like brutal on a wake skate because upwind tacking sucks. And got all the way up there, didn't land it, came all the way down. I was like trying over and over, and Evan Nesh was on the beach just like watching me just like eat it again and again and again and again. I finally landed it. And then literally 2 days later, I was like, wow, I wonder if I could try it on a surfboard. And I tried it on a surfboard. I was like, holy shit, this is so much easier. And then Michael said the same thing. Michael's like, oh, it's kind of bullshit. It's like way easier on a surfboard. I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm like, I'm not. And the wake skate's sick too. Like, I do really like it. But yeah, it's just like it's almost like the variety of it. You can't. It's harder to achieve different.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's kind of what I like.
The skate isn't so much like float and up. It's more like you gap or you pop straight up and just like snap it. You don't really float things. And I feel like your style is more like floating things. Like the big spins are like floated, and that there was that one trick I want to talk about is like a toe front 5 revert 7 kind of thing, and it looked more like more like you like popped and like sent it sort of off the water than like kind of floated it or dangled it. I don't know, but it looked different for some reason. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, the toe side front, like I do those in a weird way. I do them in kind of like a section. Like I don't know. I try to not make. I guess my front rolls are kind of like more like flat spinny in nature, and I think it's like the same style where you're kind of like whipping it more than you're like bringing it around. And I'd always have this conversation with Evan Netch because he was trying to learn doubles, and he was like, he had to do these sick big front rolls where he could go massive, but he's like, I can't like speed them up. He's like, I'm just doing these like really big long ones, and so it's kind of nice to flip it because you goes faster, but I think I don't go as high and I fuck it up more. So I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just looked more like you ollied and like spin the board and spin with the board versus like just hucking into the air and sort of bringing the board with you. So I feel like I like that kind of look better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not as much float. Not as much like a kite whip. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And I also liked one of the things I liked the most was like, well, not the most, but I liked it was like the jump off the board and you land back on the board. And also also just jumping off the grass onto the board. I think like those easy tricks are pretty cool because people can see it and relate to it, and then they think, oh, that looks pretty easy, I'll just go try that. And then they go try that and they just like can't do it at all. And I think like having some of those things in a video is like always a pretty good thing because it kind of gets people hyped and, you know, they want to get involved.
Yeah, those are like like we didn't even get one in the video, which is one of my favorites, is like when you do, I forget a friend called it the Mario jump, is when you like jump and leave the board and come back to the board, but when it flips upside down.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll do it, and if you do it when there's a bit more chop, like as you leave it, the board always does one flip, mostly. So it does one flip, lands upside down, so you can land it upside down, and then as you're riding out, then go for like a kick flip and a half.
Oh yeah.
And that's like a line that I would do like a lot at the shop. And so then when we were trying to film it, I like couldn't land it, and it was fucking driving me
because we're in like
insane.
a little slough, so there was no like chop flipping it over.
There was no. It was like too smooth. It was like too.
And then there's like then there's bushes all around us, so that was like.
There's no wind either because you actually want a little bit of wind. It's like all this stuff is like I started riding a skimboard kiting when I was like 14, and it's like evolution of that really, like just like, which was all like low, funky, weird. I used to have a mouth mount and record, and the one thing I did the Mario jump, and the board flipped over and flipped again, so it did like a full water kick flip, and I landed back on it, and I like was like, this is gonna be like the. I was like, this flip's gonna be so sick. Like, it's gonna be like, and looking back,
to shake the kite.
It's like the most absurd things ever. But yeah, I don't know, fun, just absurd.
I don't know though. Sometimes those like kind of just kite things that can only happen kiteboarding are pretty sick. I feel, even if they're not like the most legit things, I just think like those wacky kind of things just. I don't know. It's just cool because it just like can only be kiteboarding that happens.
Yeah, definitely shows we're different.
I was thinking actually about if I'd done some stuff like that, and then I was remembering also in Brazil I did like a nose press along like a flat bar, and then did kind of like a rayleigh off the flat bar and landed back on the same flat bar and did a board slide 270 back the other way. And that was a similar thing where people were thinking, oh, that's pretty sick. It's like looks pretty easy. And then like everyone was trying it, but like no one could do it. It was just like I just did it, and that was that. And I even tried it to do it the same like a few other days, and I couldn't do it at all. It was just like that one time.
Yeah, there's those weird tricks where it's like I think the backside Bigspin is kind of like that, where it's like aesthetically they look really similar to like a lot of flippy like. It doesn't look that different or that hard, and I guess that's like skating in a nutshell. But I remember Bass Cool, who used to film for Airbrush, was like filming me in Mauritius, and I did like a backside Bigspin really clean, and I was like, oh, did you see that? Like, how did that look? That looked pretty sick. He's like, it looks like pretty much everything else you do. Like, he was just like, so, like, I don't know, dude. It's kind of the same. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then Michael was like, so.
When I showed up here, I was freaking out.
I was like, this is sick. But I think you have to come from like a wake skater, a skate background to like understand. And that trick, which I wanted to mention this specifically in the interview, that trick, Ian Alldredge did that trick in a Baja edit in the fucking waves. Like, dude, like, I don't know, like well over a decade ago. He's like ripping waves in Baja, and then he does like a backside big spin on the wave randomly and just cuts. I just remember watching the edit and being like, holy shit, dude, this dude's so good. He's just doing this random shit on the fly. Like,
I think I remember that edit. I can remember him doing that. What? Definitely legendary. What was the hardest trick in this, actually? What do you think?
Hardest trick was, I guess, from lack of me not landing it and trying the most, I did a front roll kickflip in it, and I guess that technically, because I guess I did the most attempts on that before landing it, and then the one I landed in the video was the only one I've ever landed, so I guess that, but the trick I'm more stoked on, I think, is actually like, I do like a tail grab, I do like the 1-footer I do a lot, but then I throw it into like a finger flip, a tail finger flip. And that one,
I saw that.
That one's like a lot harder because that trick. Why I love like the 1-footer 360 shove that I land a lot is because your front foot's on the bar, so you land like powered with the kite low. But then if you're doing a finger flip into it and your front hand's on the bar, like you're coming down hot, so it's like it has to flip the perfect time, and then you have to, and it's very different from like the big air finger flips, right? That you're like, it's
for
like,
sure.
It's so fucking different than that. So that one felt like the sickest, I think.
Yeah, that was definitely, I think, what I got most hyped on.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah, and that's like a fun, and that's like also something very different. Like I'm sure freaking Theo's probably landed like front roll kick flip, varial flip. That kid's been doing like weird shove it tricks for like ever. Like I'm sure he's done.
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised. But like the 1-footer weird finger flip.
Yeah, that was cool.
No one else will try that because it's too random of something to try.
Yeah, that one looked pretty sick. I liked how that one looked as well. There was quite a lot of tricks in this edit actually, which is, I feel a little rare because so many of the freestyle videos are sort of like the same kind of things. Like someone does like 1 spin, 2 spins, 3 spins, or like they do the double with a 360 shove, or like it's always those. Like I feel like I've seen all those tricks so many times, but in this edit I was like, well, I haven't seen that or that or that or that, so it was like pretty sick to actually see like some different riding and show like you don't need to be also jumping like 50 foot in the air to do like new stuff. You can just find something else and try something else, and you can still do so many new things if you actually put your mind to it.
Yeah, and I think the small low stuff, which has like always been my more thing from like skimboard and stuff, that's like you said, so much more approachable. And it's funny, like strapless went this route of like big air, which I don't need to start shit talking, the GKA and things, which is like, but it kind of went into this whole like big air, which is sick. Like those guys are doing, crazy shit, but it's very, very different from like how it can be. It's just too,
Yeah, that style to me as well, I think it's sick. Like some of the like kite loops and stuff they do are pretty psycho and really committed. And in real life, I've seen some like crazy riding, like James Carew and Ayrton and stuff, like really sending it and like landing super hard. But like that to me is just like such a different genre. Like you could almost just say it's a completely different like thing. Like I wouldn't even put really that in like the same category. If you made a competition, it'd almost need like different categories to work.
Yeah, I would love to have like the game of kite or something, and get some of those guys to just like do random tricks back and forth, because a lot of those guys are really good, but a lot of times the money and the push is in big air, so that's just kind of where it's this is where it goes. Like, I mean,
100%.
yeah.
I was just talking about this in another interview with Rue the other day. It's like all the riding and the stuff you see and how people are sponsored, it's like so based on competition results that like kids just start doing whatever they need to do to win a competition. And it's like, I feel like our sport gets so stunted because of that, because no one is capable of doing something else because they're not going to get sponsored to do something else most of the time, right?
No, the whole thing of strapless is really funny because it like went from the most obscure part of the kiteboarding, which I like loved. Like I loved how obscure it was and how like just random, and then it got like legitimized, which was great for me, right? Because I got sponsored, and they were like, "Oh, there's money now for a division that you do." But then it kind of like gets, it kind of gets less fun, like a little less like creative, I guess, and really all I think back to is just like the videos like Ian Alldredge and Patrick Rebstock were putting out, doing like crazy sick airs in the waves and getting epic waves, and everyone being so frothed on that, right? And then now there's all these people that are really good at big air strapless, and there's so little people doing like sick airs in the waves. And I was like, man, if you take the general public and you show them the video of you doing a super gnarly thing in flat water, like a big mega loop, the first thing they'll say most of the time is, why aren't they wearing straps and why are they riding a surfboard? Like that. And that's just like the Tarifa GKA, the first one. I remember listening to this dude who's on the beach. This is in Spain. The guy was like, I just don't get it. Like, why are they not wearing straps? Like, why are they on a surfboard? And it was just like so funny because I was like, we're here thinking like we're so legitimized, like we're so, this is like such a thing. And I'm like, dude, the majority of people like don't even get like this still. And it's like, but if you actually take it in the waves, people are like, oh, you're doing airs like with the waves. They're like, yeah, like that. I mean, I see a wave, I see surfers doing airs, like, not that you should do it because of that reason, but I think, man, I would love to see like a stab high sort of deal with doing like airs in the waves. That would be so sick.
Just skate tricks on the waves or something, just like anything. Like,
even that would be sick.
Just combining turns with skating or just freestyle.
That's how I always kind of felt about it too. Like, I mean, I can do some strapless freestyle stuff. I'm not like a big proponent in riding a surfboard to do that stuff, but I always felt like it's sick if you could do it off the wave and back into the wave. Then it's like whatever goes. Then if you did anything, then I'd just be like, whoa, that's amazing. But like, just like you say, kind of just boosting up off flat water. And I mean, not that it's wrong to do anything, like, but why not just have a twin tip or straps or whatever at that point, sort of like.
I mean, that's what, which I thought was really funny. I guess this isn't talking shit about the GKA again. I was like, I keep reiterating that, but I thought it was really funny. Like, Patrick Rebstock got invited, and Patrick doesn't care, I don't think, because, I mean, he's not sponsored by Kiting anymore or anything. And he was, we were in this big group message, and they were talking about the event, and Patrick Rebstock is just like, I just don't get it. Like, I just don't get what's the point of doing strapless airs, like of kiting in flat water. And Patrick is sending this message in like this 40 person group message for like the GKA in Tarifa, which is like the first GKA strapless. And Patrick has already placed in like an Italy like flat water freestyler. I'm like, wow, you have one of the only people who have like placed in one of the only contests that strapless has had, and they're basically like, actively shit talking it like and I found it kind of hilarious. I was also like, why? I'm like, dude, this is not your crowd. But I don't know, I just like think back to that where he was just like, I don't know, I felt like I should play that because it was just so funny that he was, because he was so good. And I mean, I guess if you take any sport and you put a competition where you assign points to certain things, it's going to become like not as creative in some realm. Like, I guess this is kind of like the way the world goes.
Well, you're always writing to the judges, right? That's kind of my, like, and that's me being a judge, like, and seeing that like firsthand so much. It's like as a rider, you have to do what the judges are going to want. And then those judges are really making the decision on like what's good and what's bad and like who's the best rider and whatever. So like for me, it just seems so weird sometimes when it's like you look at like whoever the judges are for something and it's like, okay, so these 5 people are basically deciding who's going to be sponsored by all these different brands. Like it's kind of whack. I don't know. At the same time, you sort of need events, but at another like obscure place, it's not really like for kite surfing. I feel like events and like putting numbers on so many things just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I agree. It was cool to do the contest because it did have like a very like, you know, like legitimate feel to it. But yeah, they definitely yeah, that's just like every sport, I guess. But
well, I mean, I don't want to speak for Ian and Patrick and stuff because I don't really know those guys or know like their past, but it always seemed to me like they were just wave riding, and then in between wave riding to do some other stuff, they were doing some big jumps and sending it and going high. And that was kind of like what they were doing was finding good wave spots, riding good waves, and then jumping in between to fill in time and do something else. Like
yeah, like all of their clips, like I felt like I came from like a skimboard kiting background, and I rode some waves and I kind of like merged them. But those guys were like 100% wave riders, and then they were doing these like Ian especially like going like big and doing like a shove it on a wave, like a single shove, and you're just like, it's so crazy and gnarly. And if you go to like look up that now, like it doesn't even exist. Like you couldn't even find it. Like I don't think you could find an equal clip of someone doing it as big as he did like a decade ago. And I guess that kind of shows like a halt in, you know, I would say like the progression of air kite surfing, really, like doing it in the waves, which is a bit sad.
well, yeah, that's also a bit about the events we're talking about again. Is that, you know, they went so much to just turning it into kind of what a twin tip event is, but with a surfboard, doing the tricks that are sort of the same. Whereas for me, if I was ever going to go in an event, it would be to ride waves foremost. Like I would really not even want to do strapless freestyle in a wave event. I would just want to ride waves. And I think there's so many people around the place, like especially in Australia, that were all about riding waves. They didn't really even care about strapless freestyle. They knew who Ian and Patrick and those guys were just for riding waves. They didn't care about the jumps, and like they were sick at wave riding. And there's so many people that would have done wave comps if they were wave focused foremost. But because you needed to do all this other stuff in the same competition, people were just like, well, screw that. I don't want to learn any of that stuff. Like, I just want to ride waves.
I mean, there was the Wave Classic here. They did basically 50% your 2 best waves, 25% 2 best tricks, 25% overall impression. And the idea is to have like a kite, you know, kind of vibe where it's like you're riding waves and then you're like doing airs, you know, like in between, which I feel like is very much like Patrick and Ian's like, you know, style. And then the GKA took a similar format and had it in Brazil, and I was like, oh, this was sick, like, you know, airs, 2 best airs, like your 2 best waves. But to be honest, it was a bit anticlimactic, because what they did was everyone came in and grabbed like a square board, and then they like went out and like landed their 2 best tricks, and then they came and grabbed their wave board and like rode waves. I'm like, I mean, this is kind of like the whole point was to like mix them and not just like do them parallel. Like it kind of was a bit depressing, because I was like, no, you ride in on the wave and do this crazy trick and then fucking bottom turn and then like, you know, but that's just like the way contests go. It's like you try to, I just remember watching it and being like, and it was also super lightweight and savage. I was like lightweight. I was like watching Machu like on a backside wave, like pull all these turns. I was like, oh man, that looks so hard. And anyway, yeah.
It's like how they're coming in to change kites so they can do like a double or a triple loop or something. Like it's, I don't know. I also don't think that, I think you sort of need to keep the same gear for the heat. I don't think like, it's just, it gets too much when It's too chaotic when people are just coming in and like trying to switch stuff and there's all this chaos happening. Like, I get like maybe if your kite deflates or you're trying to change size, but like just to change to a different style of equipment mid-heat when the heat's only like 7 minutes long, it's like way too skids.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt like. I mean, because I feel like when I watch, I mean, this is very not contest-esque, but like when I watch like a fun comp, you want to like watch it and have just like be like you're entertained. That's what I feel like, at least. Like you're watching someone and they're just like having fun riding the whole time, right? And that's definitely like, I get big air comps like aren't like that. Like big air comps are like fucking gnarly. But like side on shore wave comps, you're like, dude, it's like, you know, chest high and like rippable. I don't know. It seems like that is you can be calculated too, but I don't know. That's what I like the most about competing here and riding here is like you just blend freestyle in with wave riding and do a little bit of both. And
what board were you on mostly in this video? I saw like a few different boards, but is there one you were on kind of more than the others?
Yeah, I was on pretty much like the amp, which is like the almondy one that I've ridden for years. It's like a 5.4 and it's just like a carvy, flatter, you know, almondy board. And that board's pretty, I like love that board. I like do strapless freestyle on it. I rode the Cypher, which is the square one, for like a minute, which is fun, but like the amp is better. Like when I rode the amp again, doing more stuff on it, I was like, I just like this board better. Because those freestyle boards, you know, they have their super thin rails and they just like,
yeah,
it's fine. I feel like it's also going back to the thing where like it feels like a different, just like a different thing. Like I mean, yeah, if I was like going lit to try to do something maybe, or I don't know, it's just a different. And then it's also fun because I take that same board in the waves, so it's just like. Then I rode a pointy 511 board for a minute, just kind of like to mix it up as well.
Yeah, I like the clip. Was that the white board, like the polyester looking one?
Yeah, that's the older version. Yeah, that board. Yeah.
That looked pretty good. I like that board.
Yeah, that board is sick. That board had a lot of pressure dings in it, but yeah, I rode that board during the Wave Classic, and it was always a good one to pull out and just like, yeah, it's a sick board. And I used to do just all my strapless freestyle on that, and it's like a 511 by like 18, super narrow and pointy, but it was sick. Like, yeah, I don't know. So I kind of like doing everything on the same boards. I never really. The only time I would switch boards is if I was like getting frustrated or needed to be entertained or do something different, and then I would switch boards up. But
I feel that. I ride a lot of like boards that are massive, and people trip out that my board's like so big and got so many leaders. But it's like, how many boards you want to take with you in the car or on a trip or something? It just gets too much when you've got like all this stuff. Like,
yeah, and like the big boards, like. You can kite on big boards and it's sick, like, and you can wave ride on them and they're good. Like that, I think a lot of wave kiters would improve if they rode big boards for at least a while and then went back down, because it like slows it down and makes it like a less kite heavy, more just like normal. And
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it makes them like a bit smoother as well. Like they're actually like feeling the wave and riding the power of the wave a little bit more. It's definitely not for all conditions. Like if it's super, like it looked like you were so lit in some of that footage. I couldn't imagine riding like a 33 liter fish in those death shory like turns to like airdrop things. Like they would not go good there. But yeah, for like regular conditions, like more manageable sub 25 stuff, I feel like a bigger board's fine.
Exactly. And the funny thing about that is like that board that I'm riding, like the amp, and a lot of it, people would say like that board is too flat, too doesn't hold well enough for like, you know, a lot of those waves. But it actually is what makes it like really fun, is to have a board that's carvy and like just like playful, instead of just having like the knife every single time and then your turns just being like
knifey.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I was like looking back, watching the video, I was like, wow, I forgot how much I like watching turns instead of like a side off, like the same like side off footage, you get like the same turn every single time. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's like kind of gets a bit redundant, and then it gets on shore, you get some different.
I always I always say that, and I feel like people blast me for it when they're like, "What's your favorite conditions?" And I'm like, "Probably like side on." And they're like, "What? You can't even go down the line?" And I'm like, "Bro, you can. Like, you just have to try harder."
Yeah, that's like so epic because my favorite thing is Pato, who is the kite designer for Arash, who surfs a lot. We went to Mauritius to do like a team thing, and he comes in from kiting one eye. He's like, "It's not really like surfing, is it?" And I was just like, I was like loved it because I like always kite side on. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you're kind of right. Like it gets more offshore at the end. You're kind of getting like poop stance. Like your top turns don't look that great, and I thought it was amazing. And then of course I feel like Aussie, the South Africans are like so frothed on it. Like they love side off, clean, like boom, 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 and it's fun. But there's like a lack of variety of turns and things you can do. Kind of like you can't do a wrapping carve when it's really offshore. It just doesn't exist. Like
no, you can't wrap around. You can't really like get on the nose with the fins way out the back because you would just fall out the back of the wave. You can't, like a lot of the time, I mean, one eye's probably different because it's a reef break, it gets vertical, but like so many cross offshore spots, it's just like getting the back blown out of the wave too. So you're not really like, can't work the face as much because it's just sort of blowing out on the shoulder.
Yeah, you do your turns and get even held up more at the top, which I mean, that's a whole other thing is like, then I watch like those guys at like Cabo Verde, which is super offshore, and you watch someone like rip it and make it look good. It's actually very impressive because you're like, it's really hard to make that look not like poop stance. Like it's
For
hard
sure.
to make it look like that. And I was watching some of those guys and I was like, wow, I'm like, that's impressive because it would not look great if I was kiting that at all. Like for sure. No.
Yeah, you can see like some of those Ayrton clips and his kite like looks like it's just going directly out the back of the wave, but he's still like somehow kind of airing and going like forward off the lip and back in, and I think that's pretty sick. But I think it's also hard then to like, you can really only do that like one kind of air in that condition where you sort of like have to wheelie and pop back in because you can't like use the lip to go up, because if you use the lip to go up, you just go out the back.
Yeah, no, that's what to be honest, I watch those airs and I feel like people are pretty froth on them and I'm always not froth on them at all because it basically is like a windsurfing air, which is cool.
For sure.
But like if you see someone go down the line and side off and do like a big air reverse, I'm like, this is insane because like I know I can't really do that, and the reason I can't is because it's basically a straight up surfing air when you're going straight down the line. Like there's barely any kite. The wind is
it's hard as.
And the wind is pushing your fucking board off your feet. So like you get like negative help from the kite.
For sure.
And so I watch those things and I'm like, this is insane. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? Like that guy went way bigger. I'm like, but it's like, it's completely different. Like it's a float versus like a full wave air. I don't know. Yeah.
I haven't been on the wave hunt for a little while since I've been in Europe and stuff, but when I was filming back in 2020, like COVID, I filmed a bit of a video and I was trying for ages to do like different, like unhooked, unstrapped, like down the line, like airs, and like just crashed so many of them. Like I probably only landed like a couple good ones the whole time I was filming. And I was like pretty pumped like on a few of them. And then I remember in the video, like absolutely no one even asked me about that.
Yeah.
It was just like it was just such a whatever moment. And I was like, well, I guess that's how it is, but
yeah, no, it's fine. Like I wish I could get like, if I had, $1 million and like, or more than $1 million and I could like host an event, I'd love to invite probably not, I don't even need to be in it too. Like invite like Kiahi, Machu, and like, Gabriel. Who's the dude who's doing like quadruples now?
Brazilian.
The Brazilian dude. Like invite all of them and be like, all right, we're going to some onshore wave spots or some side wave spots. And it's like whoever does like, there's best air of the trip and like these, because like those guys, man, they could
just be like a jam session. Be like, all right, best air is going to get this award, and like, just wait, like,
but like
be all kinds
Yahi and the Gabriel, they can both do them. Like they can surf.
they can do it for sure.
They can do these air surfing. Like, and so I know they can do them kiting, but there's no reason for them to do them mostly. And so I feel like that's where, you know, um,
It's unique.
I mean, it'd be sick. It'd just be more. I think it actually just feels more like surfing. If I go surfing, I also can't just do a straight up good downline air. I might not even do one in like a whole like week. I might not even do a good one. So it's like I feel like it is like surfing in that regard. It's just you have to spend time to get a good one.
yeah, yeah, it takes time. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, it's pretty sick.
But yeah, I think the other thing I was thinking about in the video that was pretty sick that I wanted to call out was like some of those big airs to flat. You just did like a big like air reverse and just landed like straight down in the flat in the front of the wave and just rode off. That was sick.
Yeah.
I was hyped on that.
Thanks. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
He was not.
I'm pretty angry about that whole section. Like, I felt like I did Ian wrong. I didn't do Ian at all justice of the fucking air section. Like, we needed bigger weight. We needed
For us to do that, we had to drive like it was a mission to go over there and.
No, but I needed to get like a better air day because I like doing airs and flats and it's sick, but if we have like a good onshore, even if it's like an onshore air, it's still like kite assisted, but you can have it perfect so you can do like a big air reverse like in a critical section and like launch and land back in, and it's like kite assisted for sure, but it's superly like the wave is being used the whole time, and I really wanted those clips in it, and we just never really got them, and it was a bit of a bummer. Yeah,
We were trying.
It's fun.
It was hard.
It's funny how some places you just get those conditions like all the time and other places you don't get those conditions at all, because where I live, like in the summer, there's like a whole ton of spots I could go to that are those conditions, like not big waves, but like that direction to do those kind of airs like all the time.
yeah. So there's like that's why in Cali, like those guys I think would always do those airs, is because just like in one direction it's basically like that type of air. Like you're gonna do like it's like heavy, it's definitely kite assisted, but you can do like big airs with that are re-entries, and so
Yeah.
which makes it sick. And here the wave riding is really good side on, but it a lot of times it doesn't line up to do those airs as often, and then other times you go to other places and those spots when it's that on shore are like either pretty small or they're like insane, like you can't stay upwind or something. There's too much swell getting pushed in, and
Yeah, the angle is actually pretty important. Like if you can't edge properly to like lift off the lip, then you just can't do it. And if you need to edge too much, you just kill all your speed and you don't go up.
exactly, and you have to have the right bend. And so I was like, look, I was kept going up there being like, let's get a fucking day where it's just like fucking you can pump. Like I had a clip from like a super old edit that I did like 6 years ago, and I look at those clips of those airs and they're better than like this one, than the clips from this one, and I was just like, oh, so angry. I was like, man, how fucking hard is it to get I don't know, to get those conditions. It shouldn't be that fucking hard. I don't know why.
It was because we were trying to do it in the end of a week.
It's because you were trying to film a video. Whenever you try to film a video, things just become hard to line up. Like you have things that happen all the time, and then all of a sudden they just like don't work for some reason.
Yeah, and then we went up a couple times and did it, and we tried to do it, and we couldn't stay upwind because the current was so bad.
I swear, like every
Yeah.
time I was on shore and there was
There
like
was
a day for it, we
current-
tried.
We
Like,
couldn't
really
stay
did.
upwind, so we're just fucking jetting down the beach. And I remember being like, "Wow, it's like the biggest frontside air I've ever done on a wave." And then we were like out of the zone. Yeah.
Fuck.
But yeah, that's the way it goes. But yeah, thanks. Those were the airs into the flats. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Well, I think we should start wrapping it up, but I wanted to kind of finish it off with one last question, and it was about what's the history of the shop there? It looks like pretty cool, the whole setup, like what they post on the Instagram and stuff. It looks like pretty like unique and sort of just like, I don't know. I don't want to say iconic because I've never actually been there, but it just like, it screams to me like it's been there a long time, and the whole setup just seems like authentic.
Yeah, no, it's my dad started it in 71 when he was 17 and would come back and kind of open it over the summer. and they rented a building. It was like $15 for like 2 weeks or something. It was like dirt cheap, and so it was like started as their summer job. And he kind of just kept coming back, and then different things at school fell through, and so he just kind of kept coming back, and then yeah. So it's kind of, he's very into whatever he's doing, and he said his line is he came down because there were not a lot of people in really good waves. So that was like, which is like a horrible business model. And so they'd sell a board or 2 boards, and they'd be like, fuck, we're like fucking good for like, 2 weeks. And they would like close and just not be open. And then like he got into windsurfing, and then, kiting, and yeah. So I would say it's pretty iconic in a way where like he's very willing to help people like in any way, and like doesn't value his time at all. And that kind of is like the mantra of the shop, which is, good and bad, because you don't get a lot of shit done that way, because like someone comes in and then you just chat with them like you're helping them out with whatever.
We're kind of always open.
Yeah, it's like, so, and then he has a big personality, and then he hosted a lot of events and stuff too before Real basically took over the events, the kite contest, which he was happy to not do anymore. And so yeah, it's very much just like a super small shop. Like it's just right now me, Michael, and my dad. So it's, in the summer we have some more coaches, but yeah, it's just a super small shop. Kind of Barton and I have a tendency to have like no filter for a lot of times too, so I think people are not really used to that sort of vibe. And then we also don't really sell people on shit. I think people are also really not used to that sort of vibe where we're like, oh, you need this, you should get this, like you don't want to buy this thing even though like we have the thing. And people are always like really blown away with that, because that's just like,
Clint said it really good. He was like, you guys are going to be brutally honest even if like nobody asked for it.
yeah. That's pretty, yeah. And we're not good at like upselling people shit either. I'm horrible at that too.
Exactly, because you guys are just brutally honest.
Like I probably don't need that. I'm using my same harness. Dude, I was riding when we were wave kiting the other day. I was realizing I'm riding all the same shit in that video that we've shot over like
3 years.
2 or 3 years. Like, oh, the board's the same blackboard, same harness, same kite, same bar. And I was just thinking like, yeah. So I guess that's kind of
That's pretty sick though. I like that aspect. I don't like to change stuff either unless I need to change stuff. Like,
yeah. Don't have to like be super gear head. And yeah, so I guess that's pretty much the shop. Yeah, this building that we're in right now is the surf shop that my dad built in '83. He built it himself, so it's like very old school. And yeah, I guess last story for Papa Smurf is we were working on the deck outside, me and another employee, and I came in and I was like, how does it feel to have, like, you're inside, taking phone call, in theory, like making money, probably not, but in theory making money while like we're out here like getting the deck done. He's like, infuriating. And I felt like that was just like him in a nutshell, where he was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to do random shit. Like, I don't want to, yeah. So that's kind of it.
He doesn't want to sit back.
No, doesn't want to fucking sit back.
well, boys, it's been good. Thanks for stopping by and giving us some information. Stoked to see the video, and I hope that you can do some more stuff like this in the future, and hope you inspire some other people to get off their ass and do some stuff.
Yeah, for sure. No, appreciate it.
Yeah, right.
Do more wave edits. Yeah.
Yeah. Supposed to be fun.
Supposed to
Not
be
supposed
fun.
to be for money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what pisses me off.
It'll be better if it's for fun.
Yeah, exactly.